absolutely maniacal right now. The world, it's moving in different directions, different energy. Something is taking place, in the world space that you and I need to be prepared for. I don't think a lot of people are prepared for this, but we should. Why? Because right now, as we speak, the Middle East has a very long, has a long tradition, obviously, seriously, of what we call a complex conflict that's involving political, religious, even territorial disputes. This has been what has plagued the Middle East for quite a while. Okay, but here's the thing that a lot of people still are trying to figure out. A lot of people are saying, why is it that there's so much conflicts in the Middle East? Everybody have their own opinion. We have historical facts, and so on and so forth. But let me put it to you this way. Chipa, it's very nice to see you here, my friend. Thank you for always being one of the first one. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up, okay? But you see, the key conflicts, such as like the Israel-Palestine, okay, the issue going on with them, or the struggle, the Syrian, for example, civil war, and even the power struggle between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And these are real situation, okay, that is taking place. Very, very real situation. Also, if you look at the foreign powers like the United States of America, the Russians, European nations, we've been involved in the Middle East conflict because everybody's taking either one side or the other. Either you're doing it through diplomacy, or either you are doing it through diplomacy. Just a second, right now. Let's see. Um, Sorry, somebody's right at let me see, texting me. Let me see. Went on YouTube. Went on YouTube. Went on YouTube. Okay. Kehinde Thomas. Kehinde Thomas. Bingo. Okay. Thank you, guys. That's a request. So, having said that, right? Here's what's going on. So, countries are taking, a different perspective. So, Monique, it's very nice to see you. Countries are taking different perspectives, on their historical grievances. So, I want you guys to kind of like think about it this way. Right now, as we speak, okay, the power struggle, between, it's fueled, by the way, by historical, grievances. The power struggle that's going on right now is real. It's legit. There's competition for resources, particularly, for foreign oil. So that's a big one. So like U.S., Russia, European nations, they're often getting involved. Why? Because obviously the natural resources, that is dominated, obviously in the Middle East, and then sometimes we fight through diplomacy or military, if necessary, military intervention, or even sometimes all of these efforts complicates the peace efforts to bring some kind of synchronicity to the Middle East. So, what are the implications to you and I? I want to pause and let's process this. So, if it was happening right now, Iran just dropped about 200, missiles, okay, on Israel. Israel vow, I am going to respond. What is the implications for you? We're United States of America. How does that impact you? How does that impact me? This is what's going on right now with the ports, okay, with supply chain situation, that you just went on strike. How does that impact your goods? How does that impact us? How about the price of things? What's the implication to this? So let's get into it. Get a pen and paper ready. Number one, oil prices. You know how right now you're buying gas, you stop at your regular gas stations, Chevron, Texaco, whatever it is, Wawa, you stop to get, your gas. And every time the gas prices goes up, you don't like that because it costs you money. The Middle East is responsible to a significant extent for what? Oil production. So the Middle East instability can disrupt global oil supplies completely, leading to what we call a higher prices in oil, affecting the economics of the world. So does this impact? Yes, it does. So you mean, but I'm in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. This impacts me? Yes. But I am in Germany. This impacts me? Yes. I'm in the Caribbean. This impacts me? Yes. Because that is a solid, again, a very solid basis, for what we call oil prices, productivity, that you and I have no choice but to actually deal with the consequences of the higher prices. Number two, terrorism. 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 Okay, guys, conflict often breeds extremism. I don't care on either side of the aisle. When kids are getting killed, women are getting killed on both sides of the aisle. I want you to imagine, a parent that lost a kid and maybe another brother or sibling survived. Do you know what this kid is thinking? One day I'm going to get my revenge. One day I'm going to get my revenge. These are the kids 10, 20, 30 years later, they find their life purpose. Because their life purpose is to bring about revenge to what happened to them. Do you realize every time there is a conflict and extremism groups, literally, they increase, the risk of terrorism increases, and both regionally and internationally. So it doesn't just stay in that location. That's why there is a transport of terrorism all over the world, because the countries that support one party over the other, I guess what happened? The extremists, they want to take revenge. And sometimes they want to take the fight to your own territory. So, number one is oil prices. Number two is terrorism. Number three, migration. Guys, I want you to think about this. Anywhere there's war is horrible. War is no fun. War is not a war is not a party. War is devastating. But it exists. It's just part of human, who we are. We fight. So in your own families, you fight. In your own household, you fight. In your own neighborhood, you fight. States fight against states. Countries against countries. But then, it's more devastating when you start applying, a weapon of mass destruction, where you're wiping up people like animals. It's not fun. It really is not fun. So, migration typically forces millions of people to flee their homes. And when they flee their homes, we have what we call, and now another problem with refugee camps, wherever they fly to or wherever they flew to, and it just makes things, okay? By the way, thank you, Kelly. Kelly said it makes money more difficult to make. Absolutely. I was going to get there, but I'm glad you got that too, because it just makes things very hard. So the refugee crisis increases, affecting neighboring countries. That's what happened, guys. And in the case of Middle East, it's going to affect Europe. So I want you to be thinking about this in your mind. You might think, I'm safe. I'm in the Caribbean. I'm in the United States. I'm in this. I'm good. No, not really. Because the way you're not good is the cost, the money price to you. The money price to you is not good. This is the reason why we got to find a way, to ameliorate the situation that we got going on in the Middle East, because the price to be paid is all across the board. Everybody pays the price, regardless who you are. Everybody pays the price. Now, so migration increases. Now, the next is called global security. Let's talk about this, okay? You say superpowers, typically, okay? Superpowers. These are, you think about people who, who control the world, countries that control the world. Their involvement in the region, it actually heightens tensions, massive tensions. And so imagine United States getting involved. Imagine Russia getting involved. Imagine China getting involved. I want you guys to understand what's going on here. Okay, this is a power play, a very dangerous one. So Israel, United States on one side. You got Palestine, you got Iran, you got Lebanon, all of them on the other side. You got Russia supporting, this other side. You got China supporting this other side. And then you got Israel, you got United States, and you got some Europeans, okay, on one side. Do you realize the world just got divided into two? Let me say that again. The world just got divided into two. So which means, if this thing that kind of breaks up right here, it's a little place, but now guess what happened? It blows up. This potentially could be a world war. This is what people are not taking into calculations. People don't want to talk about these things, but these are the worst outcome of an unchecked, uncontrolled, okay, a regional conflict. But let's continue, okay? Economic impact. Let's pause and think about that. You see, international trade routes. Think about where the Middle East is connected. Middle East is, just guys, is strategically connected. So Middle East, Europe is connected to Middle East. Africa is connected to Middle East. I just want you guys to think about the trading and how special the Mediterranean. Just think about how special that location is. So it's one area where three continents are connected in one location. Welcome to the Middle East. So now that you know that, right? What's the economic impact? Think about the Suez Canal. Pause and think about that for a second. It can be threatened. All the goods that go from one end of the world to another. If that got threatened and that get destabilized, do you realize that is going to be one of the biggest supply chain you could ever imagine? You imagine what that's going to do to commerce all over the world? This is the reason why the superpowers are all going into Middle East trying to make sure they prevent a calamity, because it can be very dense and it's no fun. All right, so I covered with you guys implications so far. Oil prices, terrorism, migration, global security, economic impact. Let's talk about the military spending. Okay, folks, I want you to think about this. Countries involved or affected by Middle Eastern conflicts. This country often they increase military budgets immediately. They have to. They don't have a choice now. They divert resources, okay, from other critical areas, of the country. Think about this. Maybe people are even starving. They need food. People are this. They need to put in money in agriculture, or all that stuff. No, money got redirected to where? The money is now redirected into the space of what? Into the space of military, because this is where they need the money the most. The impact is this. People are impacted. These people who are starving continue to starve. The people who have projects to be worked upon rely on those projects. The project is put on hold. Guys, let me put it to you this way. There's nothing really great about wars. Nothing great about wars. It's just that humans behave very strange. Human beings behave very strange. But let's go to war, let's fight, let's go to war. Everybody is stuck. And then we have a conflict. A war breaks out. Millions of people die. And then guess what? It's like a play again. They come back, okay, let's create peace. Let's solve it peacefully. Then they solve it again. Then they go for whatever number of decades. Then a war breaks out again. It's the human being. It's like a vicious circle. It just never ends. Human beings keep behaving the same exact way, over and over and over and over and over again. Almost like we refuse to go to the third and fourth dimensions where we can think beyond our regular conflict, understanding nothing great comes out of war. Never has, never will. One party may benefit from another, you think it's great, but it's only great to a certain definition of what we call greatness. Not in war. So let's talk about number 7, political instability. Let's talk about that. Guys, Western nations face political pressure and polarization, as you know. And this is due in part on how we handle the Middle Eastern crisis. And as you guys can tell. So, literally, these conflicts affect humanitarian crisis, and consequently, we got one country fighting against another country. Some people don't like United States because of United States' position with Israel. Some people don't like China or Russia because of their position with Iran. But the point is this, okay, that this political instability that comes out of this positioning can create a very massive, effect to the general population overall. So imagine when people are already driving their emotions, by religion. Now they're driving their emotions by politics. They're driving their emotions by economics. Guys, let me put it to you this way. The implications for you, and I'm going to give you the last point. Not yet, but how for you to make sure you prepare adequately for this. I'm going to give you solutions. I don't care where you are in the world, okay? My audience is very diverse and is very multicultural. and it's from all over the world. Regardless where you are in the world, I want you to understand very clearly that your potential to do amazing things for yourself in the middle of crisis is real. And how you choose to do this is entirely contingent upon you. But watch this. Energy transition, the volatility in oil, especially the oil markets, it can accelerate. In fact, it can push renewable energy as a more sustainable and stable alternative, because people have to look for the alternative, man. Because if you're dependent upon me, I break down, life still continues. Think about the longshoreman, for example. Okay, unrelated subject here, and say, oh, by the way, we're going to go on strike. Really? So now the ports are shut down. Really? So all the goods coming from all over the world, now they can't even deliver them to us. Really? People don't feel the pain yet. A week later, 2 weeks later, when you go to the stores and your normal item are no longer there on the shelf, and you're trying to buy something and it's up by $2 or $3 more, like, damn, what just happened? Because right now, as at the moment, you're not feeling it. So if you're smart, that's what you do. You go get your essentials right now. You buy them in droves and you stash the house, because you don't know how long it's going to go for. So you buy this stuff. You buy your toiletries, almost like going camping like hurricane all over again. All your essentials, stash your house with them. So that while we still have them right now, get abundance for yourself, stash them, because if this continues, then bingo. But if it doesn't continue, no problem. At least you have enough supply to last you for months to come. The idea is this: you got to start preparing for the worst while you're hoping for the best. Now, let's talk about humanitarian crisis. That's a big one. You say there's something we call the milk of human kindness. This is real stuff. When you look at the children, millions of people, that are suffering from famine, they have no food to eat. People are displaced from their homes. You live in a home, you have air conditioning, you have lights, you have food to eat, you have a refrigerator, that you're displaced. You're somewhere sitting in the desert, in a camp, as a refugee. Well, how does that, just think about that. I know that a lot of us cannot relate to that, not connect to that, but these are human beings who are experiencing all of this stuff. So the lack of access to healthcare, could you imagine, men, women having some medical issues and they are stuck in the refugee camps? How does that impact people? I know, again, if you're removed from it, you don't feel it because we don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind. But I want to remind you that it's a humanitarian crisis that goes along with war, what's going on in the Middle East, the displacement, the suffering, the famine, and so on and so forth, the healthcare issue. The demand for global humanitarian aid is real. It's very, very real. Number 10, I want to think about the cultural impact. Cultural impact. You see, the conflicts have raised awareness and discussions. It has, around religion, around identity, around geopolitics, influencing public opinion and foreign policy decisions globally. It has. Because if you think about it this way, okay, guys, they say anytime two forces meet, they don't walk away with the same equanimity. In other words, one force is higher than the other force. Translation, what it means is this: like, one force is stronger and impacted the other force even more. Let me explain what this means for you and I, and the reason why you and I need to be thinking out of the box, okay? This is going to make a lot of sense to you. Imagine right now that what's going on in the Middle East, okay? The chaos that's happening over there right now, curfew, all kind of stuff like that, okay? All that's taking place over there. Imagine, in fact, you know what, the best way for me to explain this to you is, let's take the hurricane. Look at what just happened with the Hurricane Helena. Look at what it did to North Carolina, okay? Part of Florida, Georgia, but North Carolina got a big one, especially in the town called Asheville. Asheville is a small, quaint town in North Carolina. It's a beautiful place. It actually has the mountain, a very, 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 very beautiful place. But I will share this with you guys on this. Just a second, okay? Just a second. This is my wife. Let me answer this call real quick. Hello, baby, I'm live. So, all right. Thank you so much for your patience, guys. So, I want to think about what happened. North Carolina, okay? Guys, North Carolina is a different animal altogether. Asheville got really hammered. Let me tell you something that's crazy. So, when the hurricane hits, in Asheville, and knocked that power line, knocked that all kind of stuff. Do you guys realize this? It's gonna wake everybody up listening to this. Folks had money. They took cash before the hurricane hits. So whatever money you had in your pocket, okay, no problem. Hurricane hits. The banks are shut down. Everything is shut down. The whole entire city is shut down. Electricity is out. Are you ready? You couldn't buy anything. And the little stores that were open, they couldn't take credit card or debit card. Why? Because the system were all shut down. Nothing was working. Phones were all running out. You couldn't even charge your phone. So your phone is dead. So the only way that the folks in North Carolina could operate within that short period of time is what? Face-to-face, mano-a-mano. You're buying goods, here goes the cash, we exchange, you go your way, I go my way. How long will your cash last? So a lot of these guys in Asheville, North Carolina, they're out of cash. They have no money. But then, how do you buy food for anyone that even remotely cooks something in their yard? There is no exchange. Guys, we went back to what we call agrarian culture. It just happened in Asheville, North Carolina. You don't think this can happen anywhere? You don't think it can happen to a nation? You don't think it can happen anywhere else? This is United States, the most developed country in the world. But Helena, it didn't matter who you were. Mother Nature, Helena still wreaked havoc. And still look at what happened. Imagine what war would do. Just pause and think about those things. So, what does that mean? 3 things. Number 1, okay? Start getting your affairs together. Let me explain what I mean by that. Okay? Start getting your affairs together. So, Enrique, Chipper, Queen, all of you guys, Kelly, Leno, I want everybody to know, D, let's all start getting your affairs together. What I mean by that is this. Right now, start really, I tell everybody, make a lot of money. Start saving money. And put enough, especially, lay your hand on physical cash. Put physical cash away and lock it. This is not the money you're trying to make profit on or double your money or triple your money. It's called emergency funds. Put that money away, locked up in a lockbox. If she was to go down, anything happen, no big deal. Because guess what happened? You have something to fall back on for 9 months, for 6 months, for 3 months, whatever. Everybody ought to do this. This little incident I just gave you in Asheville, North Carolina, should wake everybody up. Number 2, everybody needs to learn how to get your durable foods. Your durable foods are foods that will last, for about 3 years, 4 years, even 5 years. They are canned foods. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not the best taste. It's not like you're eating your filet mignon or you're eating your convenience. No, I'm not talking about that. It's called survival foods. So those kind of stuff, you put them in storage. They're locked away. They're there. I'm not preparing you for, oh my God, the war's coming tomorrow, but I'm preparing you for, it's called survivability. Excuse me. Survivability meaning your ability to survive potentially what could come. The last one, okay, that I'm going to share with you guys is this. Now, you may believe it or you may not. I believe in power prayers. Become spiritually aligned. Yes, you heard me right. Become spiritually in alignment. Because the truth about it is this. None of us have a lease on life. None. Not you, not me. Anybody can exit any time. So, be spiritually aligned no matter what, is going on with you. But I want to make sure I share those 3 things, with you guys. But let's continue to pray for the situation going on in the Middle East, and 100% hope for the best. But at the same time, we'll prepare ourselves for the worst. So if anything were to happen, there is no surprise because you're prepared for it. There are 2 types of people. We have initiators and we have reactors. Most people in the world are reactors. Something happened, they react to it. That's them. Initiators initiate things. Initiators are the winners. Initiators owns the money of the world. Initiator controls the world. Everybody else is like a ship. They just react to everything. Don't be a reactor. Not in 2024. Become an initiator. So if you like my content, follow me on my social media platform. Okay, you will see me right there, Dr. Kehinde Thomas. That's on YouTube. On my Instagram, you will find me Kehinde10, KEHINDE 10. Remember what I said. Please walk like it's up to you and pray like it's up to God. Have a phenomenal one, everybody, and thank you for joining me. Appreciate you guys. Bye, everyone. Bye now.